Mark Grayson and friends are on their way back to our screens for a fourth season of hit animated series Invincible. The trailers dropped, the episodes begin March 18th, and the ride is on the horizon, but I have some demands. Here's everything that needs to be in Invincible Season 4, from the comic book stuff all the way to things that need to be in the Hell storyline, which, who isn't excited for an animated original? First up, Invincible Season 4 needs to be faithful to everything involving the Viltrumite War. I'm talking even to stuff as little as Oliver's role. The Season 4 trailer shows clearly that we will be heading straight for what I think of as the middle point in the story of Invincible. War is coming, and in the comics, it was pretty epic. The assembling of forces for Mark and company was a main and important feature of the story. Whether it was the time they took grabbing Ragnar or the time spent tackling an attempt to gain Space Racer's help, there are a lot of small but important moving parts to the story. Learning that Omni-Man beat Space Racer in a fight and having to assure him they're on the same page now, it would do wonders for the exploration of Omni-Man's growth. Season 4 cannot just skim through this. Is breezing through the Viltrumite War would absolutely rip away the stakes. I don't know about you, but for me, the Invincible War felt like a brisk walk in the park, so there needs to be some depth to this. The recruitment of forces should take up a good chunk of time. Mark does not need to be a player in the realm of the Earth issues. He should leave in the first episode or two, and Earth is forced to deal with his absence for the rest of the season, especially people like his mother and Adam Eve. Speaking of breezing, there needs to be a focus on pacing in this season. I know I've mentioned the need for the Viltrumite War to spend its time and not breeze, but stuff like the Flaxens need their time to shine, the Hell War needs its time to even prove why it should belong. I'll circle back to all of that, but seasons 2 and 3 had odd pacing at times, spending a lot of time with things and almost no time with other things. Let's move on though. The Flaxens' attack on Earth needs to push the story for the Earth-based heroes effectively. The continued seasons of Invincible have seen the cast stretch out and, to some degree, stretch thin. A lot of that is due to focusing on ensembles more than focusing on individual stories. The trailer of Season 4 seems to point direction to a siege on Earth by the returning Flaxens, the race from a dimension where time moves faster. That's great. That gives the Guardians something of substance to do, and seems to shift things away from their recurring Mars subplot. I know we all love the strong fight scenes, but we need something of substance out of this. In the comics, the substance of the story stems from its resolution, that being, where it leaves Robot and Monster Girl. Amanda and Rudy are the perfect focal points for the Earth-based war, though the trailer hints more at a focus on Britt. Which one of his more important stories, Cecil's origin, they skipped his involvement in its entirety. Monster Girl and Robot's role in the Flaxen fight should be adapted accordingly. Their trapping in its dimension should serve as the cliffhanger at the end of the season for Earth's forces, as their time in the Flaxen's dimension is too important to speed through later on. Hopefully I'm getting my point across here. Rudy and Monster Girl's focus is a must, and to downplay it at all would be a disservice. Continuing on though, this season is going to find Damien Darkblood embroiled in what seems to be a hell-themed war. A lot of this season looks to be pointing toward large and sprawling battles as heroes find themselves overexerted. Invincible and spacefaring folks are taking the battle to the stars with the Viltrumite War. The Guardians are challenged by the Flaxans on Earth. So it seems Damien and an allegiance of demons are fighting the good fight down below. This will sound a little vague, but this needs to matter. Robert Kirkman is crafting a story that wasn't in the comics. He said it was cut from the books. Hopefully it was cut just due to constraints and not quality constraints. Darkblood leading his own B or C story is interesting, but it should serve a purpose. It should cover the themes and points that the Viltrumite War and Flaxen conflict miss. It should not just be a retread of anything else they already cover as well. This whole new story arc should be a chance to grow Damien Darkblood. This whole story arc needs to be a chance to grow Damien Darkblood. In the comics, he's not really a character. He shows awareness that Nolan ain't all he claims to be, and then he's sort of just banished. Then he's honestly not really seen again. He is a blank canvas. This war in hell, or this confrontation with the bony demon lady in the trailer, should not just be a set piece. Let's see Damien as a character. Watch him have interpersonal dynamics, learn why he wanted to be some detective on Earth. There's a lot of rich detail to sink our teeth into, and to pass up on any of that would be inexcusable. He's not the only one, though, who has character development just waiting in the wings. Adam Eve needs her character development from the comic books. In the comic books, there's a significant beat of time where Adam Eve is unsure of what's going on, just as was seen in the trailer. In the comics, the big beat is Eve is pregnant. That is a wildly strong development and mature story for Invincible, not least because Eve's first pregnancy she decides to not go through with. Invincible time in space is lengthy, and Eve thinks of the fact that she does not feel ready to raise a child alone, so she chooses not to. It's a powerful plot, and if it were adapted, it would show Invincible's maturity as a show, and willingness to tackle not just the bloody stuff, but also the challenging stories. Their contemporary in The Boys showed their willingness to talk of these things, and Invincible needs to put up and keep up. She deserves to see herself have some time to shine when it comes to play. If it isn't all action sequences and hype moments for her, considering the trailer indicates her powers on the fritz, let her have some of the more emotional beats. It's time for Invincible to have some follow-through. Alan needs to find himself in a much more prominent position this season. Alan's growing strength was surely impressive, but now it's time to see his brains in action. He is essentially Thetis' right-hand man, and that shouldn't be gawked at. Season 4 needs to show just why he is well respected, and of course, when push comes to shove Alan in, the comics goes on to replace Thetis after the Viltrumites' passing. It should be shown why he's the one fit for that sort of job. The growth in characters doesn't stop here, as we see some new folks joining the fray in the story, one of the most notable being that of Dinosaurus. Dinosaurus needs to be established over the course of the season for his role later on to make any sort of sense. Down the line, he's going to, spoilers, obliterate Las Vegas, so we should really find out why. Learning his motivations will help make sense of why he goes on to do it. Downplaying him prior to his destruction of a city I personally love would be a massive disservice to the character. Why? Well, most notably because he isn't exactly a bad guy. His motivations just happen to be extreme. Hopefully they can get that across in season 4 and not have him just be some wacky dinosaur guy, though a wacky dinosaur guy is pretty funny. Another character who needs to be shown the proper respect is the debuting Universa. Her side story about her need for energy to fuel her world, and the conflict Mark feels stopping someone who is in essence trying to do good for her home, is poignant and important. Boiling it down to a fight set piece would be an absolute shame. Some of the problems faced by an 8-episode run cartoon are some of these stories that get a whole comic or two, get speed run in a couple of minutes a cartoon. Case in point, the swiftness in which the season 1 Guardians died. It should be rectified, as substance is important to a show's longevity. Her entire character and existence is a point story-wise that pushes Invincible to reflect on where he has come to story-wise. Like, as he has progressed to this dark place and refusing to understand Universe's actions would force much needed reflection. Another character important to the show's longevity is Grand Regent Thrag. Thanos, the dark side, the Emperor Palpatine of it all, is debuting in the season, and he should make an impact. Thrag is going to stick around for presumably the rest of the show. He needs to matter. If Thrag were to debut with a whimper, there would be an immediate lack of stakes in the show. It's important to show the audience why he is imposing and why he matters. Just telling us that Viltrum and in turn him are frightening and scary does nobody any favors. Showing Anissa, Lucan, and Conquest made it all feel imposing and effective. He should be scarier than all of them. That is important to the longevity of the show. Now, I know I went on about the need for character growth, but I am no stranger to the love of hype moments and aura. Invincible is something that also thrives on the grandeur battles, and we need more of those. The Viltrumite War is a brimming opportunity for that sort of thing, thanks to the comic's destruction of planet Viltrum. There is a small clip in the trailer that I believe is the big moment. Thetis, Nolan, and Mark go cruising right down into the planet, and that needs to have the same kind of love that the train scene or conquest attack have had, and attention to detail and love should be given to the animation. More than anything else on this topic, there just needs to be an effort, as Invincible has slowly become more notorious about some of its odd animation choices. I'm looking at you, PNG Flying Invincibles. Speaking of our hero Mark, this all culminates into what I think is the most important need for Invincible Season 4. Mark needs to be the major focus. The expanding cast of characters always comes at a cost. Think about some shows like The Flash or Supergirl. The larger the roster got, the less focus the main character got. By the end of The Flash, we got several episodes of the Allegra and Chester show. It became just that sort of watered down, convoluted mess of a situation. Mark needs to take center stage as his character and many others suffered with the expanding world. Buckling down and spending the same amount of time with Mark as we did with him in Season 1 would do tons of wonder for the show. Seeing him deal with everything from the Viltrumite War, trying to do everything he can to topple Thrag, doing his best to play teammates with the Coalition, there's a lot of depth to get out of this. As well, this is the prominent point where he is clearly looking to shred his role as blue-suited Mark. All the trials and tribulations of the last few seasons have made him darker, and this is the chance to push him toward a more optimistic spin with a return to his yellow suit. For those unaware, the blue suit Mark wears tends to come about while he is going through his darkest stints, very similar to that of black-suited Spider-Man, you follow? So giving him all this character love and letting him go back to a yellow-suited look would do wonders. The show is called Invincible after all. Last but not least, and taking this all full circle, Season 4 needs to continue that trend of ending the season with teases of what's to come. The Viltrumite War and the battle with the Flaxen Dimension set up immensely for things to come, and we shouldn't see those things to come. Let me explain. When the Viltrumite War ends, spoilers, it ends on a cautious truce. The Viltrum Empire's remnants are allowed to descend and live on Earth. We need to see scenes of them blending into Earth and beginning to forge a new life. Give us a small snippet of Monster Girl and Robot in the Flaxen Dimension trying to survive, setting us up for what's to come for them. Lastly, we need that hint of a Scourge virus, Thetis. I would assume ends this journey dead, and Alan is pissed. The Scourge virus will return as a solution to their presence on the planet, and we need a little hint of that. Like the video? Click the link above to see more like it.